Right now, as you watch this, things might feel heavy. Maybe a money problem that started small has quietly become your whole reality. And somewhere along the way, you started believing this is just how life works now. You do not feel like starting anything. The drive is gone. The dreams feel like they belong to someone else. And the longer it drags on, the more it seems like every door has shut and the whole world has lined up against you. I will be straight with you. Some of that is true. The world is not always kind when you have fallen into a financial hole. And that hole can keep you trapped for years if you let it. You really can wake up 5 or 10 years from now in the same spot. Or worse, if you do not take real, concrete steps right now to push off the bottom. So let me show you exactly what those steps are. That is what today is all about here on Brad Walker. I want to hand you a set of tools that genuinely pulled me out when I was down, and I am confident they can do the same for you. And even if your life is great right now, even if everything is humming along, knowing these tools is worth your time, because they are the difference between a bad month and a lost decade. It does not matter how many degrees you have, where you live, what social bracket you sit in, or what you do for a living. Try them and the results will come, especially if you use all of them, because the real magic is in how tightly they connect to each other. Before we go deeper, do me one quick favor. If this brings you value, tap subscribe and give the video a like. We are pushing hard toward 1,000 subscribers here on Brad Walker, and every single one of you brings us closer. Thank you, truly. Let me start with a confession. I have been through more than my share of crises, and I have sunk all the way to the bottom of this lovely pit. I lost faith in myself more than once, completely. The kind of empty where you stop recognizing the person in the mirror. And the strange thing is this, the higher I had climbed before, the harder the fall felt afterward, and the more hopeless it seemed on the way down. At one point, I ended up on antidepressants, and that was the moment I understood I could not stay in that swamp any longer. Something had to change in a serious way, because if I stayed in that muck, a quiet voice kept telling me I would never get out. But I did get out, and that is exactly why I know you can too. The first tool I want to hand you today is this. You have to accept and truly understand that you are at the bottom. The sooner you do that, the faster you climb out. It will not happen in a single instant. Most likely, just like the rest of us, you will move through the familiar stages: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and finally, acceptance. And here is why most people stay stuck down there. They spend far too long denying that they are sliding. Our ego, that little crown we all wear, plus the habits we carried over from better days, keep us from admitting there is a problem at all. In fact, you might be watching this right now thinking, well, it is not that bad for me. If that is you, then ask yourself one honest question. What made you click on this video in the first place? Something in you already knows. Instead of facing the problem, we wait. We tell ourselves it will sort itself out, evaporate, settle on its own. We keep our grip on the old routine. We hit our favorite coffee spots. We meet friends for dinner. We let ourselves drop money on things we do not need. The brand new iPhone, the upgrade, the little luxuries. And the whole time, the real hole keeps getting wider. Not the one from the pastries and the lattes, the one underneath your life. So step one inside step one is simple but brutal. Take off the crown and say it out loud. I am in serious trouble. And then accept that fact instead of arguing with it. Step 2 inside this first tool matters just as much, and it might sting. Almost everyone around you does not really have the bandwidth to carry you. That is not cruelty. It is just life. The people in your circle are wrestling with their own problems, even the closest ones. Your friends, your family, everyone is fighting a quiet battle you cannot see. So when you are in the hole, the rule is this: you lean on yourself first. And while you are down there, the people near you tend to stay down there with you. If you want their help, their support, their belief, you have to climb at least part way out first, which means stepping on your own ego to do it. Let me give you a real example from my own life. A few years back, I was running a company that leaned heavily on social platforms, the kind of business built on top of the big advertising algorithms. Back in 2020, the rules changed under our feet. The platform reworked its system. The access we relied on shifted, and suddenly the ground we had built everything on started to move. I will spare you the technical weeds. The point is, big problems showed up fast, and I felt like the king of the world. I was so sure of myself that I barely glanced at the warning signs. I had this feeling it would all just smooth itself over. So instead of taking off the crown, tossing it in a drawer, and charging in to find a way out, I ignored every single red flag and kept enjoying the ride. I was flying off to the islands, lounging in five-star resorts, weekend trips to the kind of places you save for a lifetime. And over about 6 months while I was sightseeing, the company slid into a genuine crisis. In the end, we had to let go of a lot of talented people I deeply respected, and we lost a serious amount of money that mattered to me a great deal back then. All I had needed to do, way back at the start, was say one sentence out loud. We're in trouble, and we have to change something today or this gets bigger. But no, my ego and my refusal to see the problem kept me blind. And so it all piled up and got worse. That is why the first tool is to accept and understand your bottom. Now, the natural question is, fine, I have admitted I am at the bottom. So what do I actually do next? That is where tool number 2 comes in, and it is this. Take care of your body. I can already hear the pushback. I cannot even get out of bed. I have no energy. I can barely lift my arms, and you want me to exercise? Stay with me, because this is one of the most powerful moves you can make, and I will tell you why. The mistake most people make in a crisis is that instead of taking even one small step towards saving themselves, they dig the hole deeper. Some start drinking, and plenty do it hard, with real consequences. Some bury everything in food, eating to numb it and putting on weight that makes them feel even worse. Others throw themselves into chaos in their personal lives that only adds more wreckage. People tear themselves down further in a moment that was already hard enough. So remember this, no matter what shape your situation takes, a breakup, a business collapse, a mountain of debt, if you are at the bottom, you almost certainly do not have a clear plan yet. And while you are figuring out how to untangle the chaos, the single best thing you can do is start working on yourself physically. Move your body. There is a great rule a good friend passed to me a long time ago, and it goes like this. If you do not know where to start with your body. So build a clear daily routine, eat clean, and train with real effort. That is what you do right now if you are at the bottom, every single day. What you are actually doing is generating energy regardless of the situation you are stuck in, because energy is created through motion, even the smallest motion. As long as you are lying on the couch suffering, there is simply nowhere for energy to come from. So start working on yourself. Feel those small improvements and enjoy them. Within a week or two, you will already see results. Maybe small ones, but real ones. A little definition starts to show. You drop some of the extra weight. The puffiness in your face fades. You go from 5 push-ups to 25. And one morning, you will catch your reflection, remember this exact video, and thank yourself for grabbing the wheel when it counted. Then you will feel how good change actually feels, and you will want more of it and better. That gives you a massive jolt of self-respect. You will realize you can change. You are not just driftwood bobbing in cold water. And soon, the positive energy you build in your training, you get to spend out in the rest of your life, in your work, in your family. Because results in fitness were never only about fitness. They spill into everything. Here is another one from my own life. For the last couple of years, I've been seriously into karting. Let me tell you why. When you are flying down the track in a helmet at over 60 miles an hour, you cannot think about anything except the next corner. You cannot drift off for even a second, because the price of that is your own body, and you can get hurt badly. It builds this incredible tunnel vision, the skill of locking on to one single task and nothing else. That is not me prescribing karting to you. It is just the sport I chose for myself, the kind of edge I happen to like. For you, it might be running, swimming, the gym, yoga, hiking, boxing, anything. The point of tool number 2 is movement. Burn off the stress, build the engine. And keep that little phrase close, because it has saved me more than once. If you do not know where to start with your body. Now, tool number 3. If you are in the hole and still living your old, comfortable life, still buying the clothes, still treating yourself in fancy hotels, still having breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Michelin-starred restaurants, or just plain expensive ones, then you are making the exact mistake I made. I'm exaggerating a little to make the point land, but you get the idea. The third tool is this. First thing, strip out every unnecessary expense and look at your finances with cold, honest eyes. Move to a cheaper place. Shift your whole lifestyle into a lean economy mode. Cut the purchases you do not need and the luxuries you cannot justify. Understand a simple truth. When you are in a crisis, you are already carrying enormous stress and pressure. If you keep spending like nothing happened, you slide into real financial bondage, the kind that is brutally hard to escape. What you actually need is to cover only your basic needs and live by the principle of just enough. An apartment, for example, just enough to have somewhere to sleep, cook a meal, and get work done. Simple food, enough to stay healthy and keep going. Nothing fancy. And replace your expensive hobbies, if you have them, the golf membership, the weekend toys, whatever they are, with free sources of energy instead. A run through the park, a hiking trip in the mountains with friends, a day at a free public lake. That stuff costs nothing and fills you right back up. Your new motto becomes, get the most out of life with what you actually have. And if your ego is cracking and screaming in protest right now, that is precisely why you need to do it. Because the dated wallpaper in a cheap rental will motivate you far better than comfort ever will to claw your way back to the life you want. And here is something that never made sense to me. So many people are terrified of lowering their standard of living, yet they are somehow not terrified of staying broke forever. Make it make sense. So help yourself out. Tell yourself the truth. This is temporary. Maybe a month, maybe 6 months, maybe a year. But if you do not do it right now, you will almost certainly stay in this hole forever. Or at least for a very, very long time. But that is not all. Let me tell you about another common mistake people make when life throws them overboard. They immediately go hunting for a way to make millions or even billions. They dream of earning while lying on the couch. You know exactly the kind of pitch I mean. The one that promises a fortune with zero effort. The stranger online swearing they bring in piles of money without lifting a finger. By now, nobody needs me to explain that money simply does not work that way. You do not need a startup that changes the world. You do not need to invent the next Apple, Microsoft, or Tesla. Right now, sitting at the bottom, you need to cover your basic costs and pour all your focus into exactly that. Later, sure, you might build something brilliant, but here is the key point. That brilliant idea will never show up while you are completely drained and running on empty. So tool number 4 is cover your basic expenses first. Where do you start? Just do the math. Figure out how much money you actually need to cover yourself, your family, your housing, your health, all the foundational stuff, the base of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Then find one stable source of income that covers it. And if your basic expenses are too high, take a hard look at trimming them. Only once your rear is secured, only once you can sleep at night knowing your kids, your partner, and you are safe, only then do you get to dream about conquering the world. No fantasy goals. Close your point zero first. Just ask yourself, what is my base task? My task number 0. If task 0 is fixing a health problem, handle that first. If task 0 is clearing your debts, then clear them. And once your base task is crystal clear, you go find the ways to solve it. Do not jump straight to curing cancer or reinventing the planet. Write down the simplest, most realistic ideas that could move your situation in the near future. For example, if you have a regular job right now, think about how to strengthen your position. Build a sharp, attractive resume. Send it to every strong company you can find. Set up profiles on every job platform out there. It would be a mistake in a moment like this to hold out for one perfect company where you will slowly climb a ladder over decades. The world has changed, and people have changed with it. It is completely normal now to not spend 40 years in one chair doing the same thing your whole life. What is normal now is putting your strongest abilities to work in the right direction, and not being afraid to walk away from work where you never get to shine. The ideal situation is this. You wake up in the morning and you do not lie there wondering, okay, what am I supposed to do today? What now? Instead, you already have a clear, step-by-step list of moves in your hand. For example, this morning, I sit down and reach out to 50 potential clients. After lunch, I list my products on an online marketplace. Or I finish my resume and post it everywhere that matters. And so on. But here's the catch, and it is the interesting part. Even following your plan perfectly every single day will not save you if you do not have rhythm. So the 5th tool is rhythm, which is really just another word for discipline. Only a steady rhythm gets you out. A habit. Stubborn, repeated work on yourself, day after day after day. Never bet everything on luck. That luck may never show up at all. The mistakes so many people make, the ones who hit bottom and try a couple of things, is that they give up far too early. Results are often just a matter of the number of repetitions. You raise your odds by raising your number of attempts. We all know the legendary story of the inventor who tried something like 10,000 times to get a single working light bulb. We all know the story of the digger who quit just a few feet short of the diamond. Before she became one of the richest authors in the world, J.K. Rowling collected around a dozen rejections from publishers for her book about a young wizard. Only one small London agency took a chance on her, and even they did not really believe it would sell. But she kept writing, and you already know how that turned out. Or think of Starbucks and the years of doors closing before the doors opened. There are millions of stories like these, and the lesson hiding inside every one of them is the same. The result lives in the number of attempts and the refusal to quit. When you are at the bottom, do not sit around waiting for some random stroke of luck to fall out of the sky, because it simply will not. Only rhythm and habit will. You get up, you eat, you meditate, you head to work. At lunch, you take your break for a workout, because we already covered how much the body matters. You burn off the cortisol. After dinner, you spend time on yourself, on growth. You read something, you watch something useful, without sinking into the endless scroll of social media. And then you sleep, and you do it again the next day. Hold the rhythm. Yes, it sounds hard, and that is fair. But unlike endlessly waiting for luck, consistent work on yourself produces a result with near certainty. It is only a question of time. Sooner or later, it absolutely delivers. Meanwhile, passively waiting for luck with no action is most likely the very thing that brought you to where you are right now. Now we move into the closing tools. The sixth piece of a guaranteed escape from crisis is keeping a daily report and practicing self-reflection. And pay attention here, because reflection does not mean feeling sorry for yourself. It is not sitting around asking, why does it hurt so much? And why is the world so cruel? It means running an honest, detailed analysis of your day. What time did you get up? Was the food you ate actually good for you? Did you hold your routine? Did you remember your body and your training? Which of your ideas did you test today? And what results did you get from them? You log all of it into a simple table, and once a week, you sit down and analyze it deeply. You compare your numbers, and you watch the trend. Why? Simply to get feedback and to answer one honest question. Am I lying to myself? That is the only way you will know whether you are doing this for show, chasing another little badge, or whether you are genuinely taking concrete action that changes you every single day. Because sometimes it feels like we are doing so much, when in reality, we are doing it all inside our own heads. The moment you put your actions and your results down on paper, the real picture appears. And here is something I am genuinely curious about, so be honest with yourself. Have you ever finished a day completely convinced you worked yourself to the bone, then grabbed a sheet of paper, started writing down everything you actually accomplished, and found almost nothing there? I know I have. If that has ever happened to you, tell me about it in the comments, because I would love to read it. And naming that gap out loud is the first real step to closing it. Now the most important part, the thing that, without it, every tool I just gave you simply will not work. When you find yourself at the bottom, you have to truly understand that every person who has ever fallen into a crisis eventually climbed back out of it, as long as they took the right steps. And a huge share of them came out with even more energy and drive than they had before the fall. So at the root of it, all you really have to do is believe in yourself. That is why the seventh tool is belief in yourself and in a bright future. As cliche as that sounds, you wake up and you repeat it like a mantra. Everything is going to be good. This is going to work. Today is even better than yesterday. I believe in myself. I will reach what I am after. Or maybe certain phrases give you strength. Write them down and do not forget them. Run them through your head constantly. Repeat them. This matters more than you think. And one more thing, it is not enough to just tell yourself how confident and capable and sharp you are. You also need to picture your actions in your head. And I want to be precise here, because this is the part people get wrong. Picture the actions, not the rewards. Not the dream car, not the villa, not the luxury watch, not the sports car in the driveway. The way so many people picture some glossy future. My recommendation is to picture the actions themselves. For example, picture yourself walking into an interview and absolutely nailing it, every answer landing. Or picture yourself signing a contract with a major company. You run these scenes through your mind, and then you go get the result. You are essentially rehearsing the whole thing inside your head first. Because when we replay it again and again and again, we start noticing our own mistakes. We choose a working strategy ahead of time. We get into the details and polish them until they shine. And in the end, precise, well-rehearsed actions produce the result we were aiming for all along. So practice running through your mind the exact actions whose outcome matters most to you. So here is the truth. What I shared with you today will produce results, guaranteed. The only real question is how many repetitions it takes for you to get there. And that is deeply individual. It cannot be any other way. Let me say it again. It does not matter what your intelligence is, what kind of family you come from, what baggage of knowledge or money you carry. Mathematical probability is stronger than all of those circumstances combined. So believe in yourself and do the work. Do it, do it, do it every single day. If it helps, find yourself a hero, someone who inspires you. It can honestly be anyone. The only thing that matters is having an example in front of you of how stubborn, regular work turns a person into the best of the best. For me, one example I love is Kobe Bryant, because Kobe, unlike almost everyone else, showed up earliest and left latest. While most pros did 1 or 2 practices a day, Kobe did 3. He would arrive at 6 in the morning and leave last. By the time his teammates were showing up for their first session of the day, Kobe was already starting his second. Every practice, every day. And honestly, over a single week, the difference was barely visible. But over the years, Kobe became untouchable in every part of his game. To me, that is one of the clearest pictures you will ever find of what discipline, rhythm, and persistence actually do. He simply, undeniably, did more than everyone around him, and the results followed. So remember this, the one thing you truly own right now is your time. Do not waste it. Use it to the absolute maximum. All right, let me pull it all together. Every crisis is, in the end, an opportunity to grow. It is just wired into us that we grow the most only when life finally knocks on the bottom. So start with acceptance. Say to yourself, I am in a hole, and there is nothing shameful about that. Take care of your body and start training. Because while your life is full of chaos and uncertainty, that one move will steady you fast. Take control of your finances and cut every expense you do not need. Solve your task 0 and cover your basic needs first. And only after that, start dreaming up the billion-dollar business. Keep your rhythm and your routine. Run your regular reports and reflect honestly. And finally, just believe in yourself and in your bright future, and everything will fall into place. Keep in mind that all of this is shared for information and encouragement, drawn from my own experience, and it is not a substitute for the guidance of a qualified professional when your situation calls for one. That is everything for today. If this helped even a little, hit subscribe and drop a like so we can reach 1,000 subscribers together here on Brad Walker. I am genuinely glad you are here. Believe in yourself, keep showing up, and I will see you in the next one.